YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you, and today I've got a bottom round roast. So you can see we got a little fat on the outside, not much fat on the inside. Now, a lot of the recipes you'll see for this actual cut will have you roasting this at low and slow temperatures, hitting that 125 to 130 range. Some recipes will tell you to pull it out of the oven before that. Of course, we're not cooking this in the oven. I'm gonna get this on the smoker tomorrow, but I'm actually gonna make some sandwiches with this. I'll show you guys a beautiful way to cook this up until 125, 130. Pull it out, get it wrapped in saran wrap and in your fridge overnight to make some excellent cold cuts for sandwiches. Now, that refrigerator piece is important because it helps re-solidify any remaining fat that might be in here, and it helps. It also helps this meat to hold together. Again, not much fat to speak of. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to get this on a brine. My brine is going to be incorporated with black pepper. Can you see that? And of course, kosher salt. We're going to go down with our black pepper first. Again, this is simple. I don't have to roast this in my smoker. I could very well do it in my oven. I'm not going to do that. I do want some smoky flavors on this. I am salting this so that we get some of that saltiness down into the center of this meat. After all, I'm going to be slicing this as thin as possible to put on sandwiches. So you're not technically going to be getting a lot of salty flavors from the outside. That's the main reason why I want to go ahead and get a brine on this and get this into my fridge overnight. So we're going to go ahead and get it started with this black pepper. And then I will more than likely, before this goes on the smoker, hit it with a favorite store-bought rub, less salt. All right. Just remember, you know, since this will be going on a sandwich or however we choose to eat it, it will be sliced thinly. It's important that we got a good seasoning on the outside because, again, such small surface area when we slice this that we want to make sure that the meat tastes like something. Right? Again, you see that there's no fat in there to speak of. So you could put this in a crock pot. It's really hard to watch the temperature of it without a thermometer. You could do this, of course, in your oven, but very important about this recipe is getting it back into the fridge after it's been roasted in whatever vessel you choose to roast it in, and let it set in that cold environment. For us, that's going to help us be able to get some really thin slices out of this. Nice and easy all over. Now, this is Diamond Crystal. It's not as salty as those other brands. The other brands I'm speaking of is Morton's are your table salts. Your table salt's going to be way saltier than this. So this allows me with this salt to use a little bit more. Since the cut on this is a bit fine over grind, it also allows for quicker applications into the center of this meat. So I could let this sit in my fridge for a few days if I want it. And we're going to form a pellicle. That's why you put it back in the fridge. That's all. The pellicle is a skin that forms on the outside. And pellicles are important because that's what your smoke is going to stick to. Down with some avocado oil. Again, just pulled out my fridge. It's been sitting here for the last 15-20 minutes. I've got some Cajun seasoning just to impart a little bit more flavor. This does have salt in it, so I'm not going to be as heavy-handed, but I do want to make sure that we've got some nice flavors going on. I could have went with any store-bought rub for this. I'm choosing Cajun. This is beef. However, I would treat a piece of pork not the exact same way if I'm using it for lunch meat, but pretty much. Alright, other than that, this is going to sit here. I'm going to go build a fire on my smoker, and we're going to put this baby on. Stay tuned. Alright, we got that roast on. We got a nice small fire. I got a split of hickory there. And when I say small coal bed, I do mean small. I took some of the larger chunks out of the lump charcoal that I'm using. Got a nice coal bed going, and you can see that took off, right? So it's not going to be overly hot. This is going to take as long as it's going to take. I say about an hour or so, maybe hour and a half, max 2 hours, right? So that's that. Let me show you guys. You can see we're at 51 degrees. The center's still pretty cold. And here's how we're looking. So you can see I got my trusty Thumber Pro in. It's never really failed me. I don't use it as often as I probably should, but we're gonna let this go. Again, we're looking at 125 to 130. Not mad if it goes a bit over. This will be resting and going into my fridge overnight. That's gonna help with the. It's gonna help us get some nice thin slices. Stay tuned. All right, we're at 86 degrees on that roast. You can see nice small fire still. I'm just now starting to bump these temps up. So I've been smoking at about 225, working my way back up 250, 275. Let's see how we're looking. Looking pretty good. I like the color that we got coming out. And we're gonna let this keep rolling. Let me get the top down so we can get back cooking. And working our way back up between 250 and 275. Stay tuned. YouTube, we back. So my roast just hit 125. It's doing a bit of carryover now. I expect that this thing will carry over up to 130, maybe 131. That's fine, right? The goal is to leave this pink in the center. That way we have a juicier product. This is gonna sit out here at room temperature. Then I'll bring you guys back here shortly. I'll let it sit out here for the next 30-45 minutes. I'm going to wrap this in saran wrap. Nothing else is really needed. You'll see that tomorrow when I pull it out of my fridge, all the fats, you know, which, you know, outside there was a little bit of fat, but you'll see that there's moisture in this. And you attain that moisture by not blasting this with high heat, and certainly not carrying it up past 130, 140, 150. Stay tuned. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. So this did carry over to 129. 129. I put the probe in the side so we wouldn't have a long hole going in, and when I cut these slices, there wouldn't be a hole in the middle of the slices. All right, guys, so here is that roast. You can see we still got a pretty pink center. In fact, you see a lot of moisture coming out, and that's what we want. We're gonna get to slicing this really thin as possible. This would be a good time, if you got one, to pull out a deli slicer. If I had a deli slicer, this would definitely be going on my deli slicer for the thinnest of slices possible. I like the moisture that I'm getting, and so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start slicing this as thin as possible. I won't keep you here while I get all these slices, but I want you guys to see what we've been able to attain by cooking this to a 125, giving it a nice slight tug. It comes apart. It's still definitely moist. Let's give it a taste. A hint of smokiness. You can get some of those Cajun spices. It's not overly salty. It's quite delicious. I got a pile going. I'm going to go ahead and slice this all down. I'll bring you guys back when I'm getting ready to put a sandwich together. Stay tuned. Alright, let's go ahead and close this video out. I'm going to put together a sandwich. We're going to put together a sandwich using this deli meat. This is what I'm calling this, cold cuts, deli meat, what have you. Alright, I've got a piece of pumpernickel / rye. I say that because it's got both. It's been lightly toasted to kind of add some structure. I'm going to go down with some Dijon mustard. I considered making my own mustard. However, I couldn't find my mustard seeds that we usually keep in the house. Would have been quite delicious. But we're going to go with store-bought. Let's get that rubbed on. I like pretty, I don't like a dry sandwich, guys. Even if this was mayonnaise, I'll be going on pretty heavy. mustard and rye and pumpernickel go quite well. It's the same type of bread I use when I'm making pastrami as well. I am also going to add, so this is an onion jam I just made. I didn't get it on camera. Again, this video is about the meat. I'm going in with my hands. My hands are clean. I'll wash them before serving this sandwich up. Going pretty heavy. Going pretty heavy. Really, if you think about it, this is really a basic sandwich. A basic sandwich, and I think this onion jam could have also made a bacon jam. I think this onion jam is going to set us up right for meat. I want to make sure that you guys can see what we've got going on. Let's get you in here. All right, my sandwich, and we're going to start piling on. I've got this meat as thin as possible. It's kind of how you want this. That keeps everything tender. So with this cut, again, you don't want to cook this over 130, over 140. You do that, and you're going to have some tough meat on your hands, even when you cut it. All right, I think that's going to be about it. Get it in there. All right, I'm going to cap this sandwich off. I'm going to give me some pictures. I'll bring you guys back for a taste test.